What if a country could find a way to use its own exports to pay for its future success? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty unique financial engine in Pakistan that was built to do exactly that.
Okay, so let's start with the big question here. How does a country actually supercharge its exports? I mean, how do you give your products a real competitive edge on the world stage? It is a massive challenge, but it turns out one nation came up with a very specific and very interesting answer.
To really get why their solution is so clever, first we've got to understand the problem it was designed to solve. Let's call it Pakistan's export puzzle. Think about it like this. Many businesses have amazing products, right? We're talking incredible textiles, top-tier soccer balls, all sorts of things. But they keep hitting these bottlenecks. It's like having a bottle full of fantastic stuff, but the neck is just too narrow to get it all out. These bottlenecks can be anything. Outdated ports, not enough skilled workers, a lack of modern machinery. They can literally stop a great business dead in its tracks. So what do you do about that? Well, in Pakistan's case, they decided to build a unique financial engine, a special fund designed specifically to clear out these roadblocks. And here it is. It's called the Export Development Fund, or EDF for short. And its mission is, pretty simple, but also really powerful. Find those bottlenecks, whether they're in textiles or technology, and then invest money directly into projects that will solve them. Now, this fund didn't just appear overnight. Its journey actually started way back in 1991 with just a simple idea for a tiny fee on exports. By 1999, that idea became law, giving the fund its official power. And today, it's evolving yet again, getting these modern reforms to make it faster and more transparent for the global economy we live in now. So this is the crucial part, right? How does this fund actually operate? Where does the money come from, and who gets to decide where it all goes? Here's probably the best way to think about it. The EDF isn't a company that sells goods. Instead, it acts more like a venture capital fund, but for the entire country. It invests in promising projects that have the potential to lift up the whole export ecosystem. The whole process is actually a really clever self-sustaining loop. It all starts with that tiny 0.25% fee on all exports, which automatically feeds the fund. Then you have industry groups, the people on the ground who know the problems best. They propose the projects. Experts check out those proposals, and then a board gives the final green light. And just like that, the money goes right back into the industry to solve the very problems it came from. And who's on this board, you ask? Well, this is where you can really see this cool public-private partnership in action. You've got top government officials, like the Minister for Commerce, sitting right next to the presidents of major chambers of commerce and some of the country's top exporters. This setup ensures you get government oversight combined with real-world, boots-on-the-ground industry knowledge. It's a great mix. But look, this isn't just theory. Let's talk about the tangible results. We are talking about billions of rupees being invested directly into businesses. So let's run through some numbers. Since it started, the fund has backed over 300 different projects across the country, which adds up to a total approved value of over 32 billion rupees. And of that, more than 21 billion has already been sent out and put to work, building the infrastructure and skills people need to compete on a global scale. So, where's all this money going? The chart shows a really clear focus on Pakistan's powerhouse sectors. Textiles get the biggest slice of the pie by far, then leather, and then another big chunk goes to support a mix of other key industries. And these aren't just abstract categories on a spreadsheet. We're talking about industries that produce stuff that's recognized all over the world. The high-quality soccer balls used in international tournaments, those leather jackets you see in high-end stores, the fragrant basmati rice in kitchens everywhere. Yep, there's a good chance their supply chains have been touched by one of these EDF projects. The projects themselves are incredibly diverse, and each one is designed to tackle a really specific bottleneck. They range from building super specialized training institutes for jewelers and garment workers, all the way to constructing essential infrastructure, like cargo complexes and water treatment plants. They also do this really cool thing where they help small businesses by creating these shared facility centers with expensive machinery that no single small company could ever afford on its own. But, the world doesn't stand still, so neither can the fund. The final piece of this story is all about how the EDF is evolving to meet the challenges of the future. These reforms that started up in the 2020s were all about three things: speed, efficiency, and transparency. The whole goal is to shift from a traditional, kind of slow government body to a more agile, corporate-style entity.
That means faster decision-making, getting the money out the door quicker, and even more input from the private sector experts who really know the export market inside and out.
And this all leads us to one final question. By creating this self-funding engine that reinvests directly into solving its own industry's problems, Pakistan has really developed a unique model. So as this fund keeps modernizing, you gotta ask, can it be the key that unlocks the country's next great export story? That is a question worth watching. Thanks for joining this explainer.